Our reporter Sipamandla Goge has been tracking the Zuma case from the beginning. Let's cross to him now. Sipamandla, what are you seeing right now?
Very quiet here at the Pietermaritzburg High Court. Proceedings are set to get underway at 11:30. They will be virtual with Judge Mnguni sitting in his chambers connecting from there, and legal representatives will also join in. So not much of physical activity here at the Pietermaritzburg High Court. This is one of the most important hearings for former President Jacob Zuma because remember, police were given 3 days to effect his arrest after the expiry of his 5 calendar days. But we know that he has since lodged an application to the Constitutional Court to have that decision or judgment rescinded, but he needs to come to court also to interdict his pending arrest, with Police Minister Bheki Cele writing to the office of the Chief Justice to say, for now we will hold off on arresting the former president up until all the legal processes have been finalized. It was very important for Police Minister General Bheki Cele as well as National Police Commissioner General Kehla Sithole to do that, because at the moment there was nothing suspending the order that the former president be arrested. Hence, his legal team decided to come to court to interdict that pending arrest. And also, Police Minister General Bheki Cele wanted some clarity to say, in the midst of all these pending court processes, what should happen. Hence, he had to write to the office of the Chief Justice. But listen to former President Jacob Zuma's lawyer here, Advocate Dali Mpofu, explaining these two processes. One, the application to the Constitutional Court to rescind the judgment, but also number two, why we are here at the Pietermaritzburg High Court for their application to put on hold or interdict the pending arrest.
I'm not scared of going to jail for my beliefs. It will not be for the first time. I will be a prisoner of conscience. I have already spent more than 10 years in Robben Island under very difficult and cruel conditions. Even then, I was a prisoner of my conscience and beliefs. However, I have a duty and obligation to ensure that the dignity and respect for our judiciary is not compromised.
Well, Sipamandla, normally we would see in court cases involving big political figures like former President Jacob Zuma, supporters outside the stadium, stages set up, and them then addressing their supporters before or after. This is a virtual sitting of the court, though, so we're not going to see President Zuma there. But this was the same case with Ace Magashule, I think about a week or so ago, where he wasn't in court, but we still saw his supporters arrive at the court. Is the same thing happening there?
Not at all, but there was some bit of confusion here with some of former President Jacob Zuma's supporters under the impression that they will be coming to court to support him. Yesterday night, our sources told us that the former president himself was eager to come to court, but he was, of course, discouraged from doing that because proceedings will be virtual. As we speak now, I haven't spotted any supporters of former President Jacob Zuma outside Pietermaritzburg High Court. It was the case with Ace Magashule at the Johannesburg High Court. His supporters came there even though proceedings were virtual, but I guess in that case things were a bit different here. Remember that former President Jacob Zuma's supporters had been in eNCA for almost a week now, so excuse me, in terms of logistics and arrangements, it would have been a bit of a challenge to organize them to come to Pietermaritzburg High Court now for this brief hearing, which we understand that it will be a brief hearing, so they are not here.
Sipamandla, you're saying you understand it'll be a brief hearing. Any whisperings of which way the court might go?
Not at all. It's difficult to predict with the courts here up until that the proceedings are underway. But the main reason that it is widely believed that proceedings will be brief, it's simply because there is an argument here which will be threshed out in court to say this court, in terms of jurisdiction, doesn't have the powers and authority to override and overrule or overturn the decision of the highest court in the land. So that argument will be argued inside court today during the proceedings, and a ruling will have to be made about the jurisdiction of this court. If the ruling is that this application is misplaced by being filed here at the Pietermaritzburg High Court, then the matter will have to be thrown out. The former president's legal team will have to apply to the Constitutional Court again to put on hold this pending arrest, because there is an argument which says you should have lodged this application to the very same court that found you guilty. Go back to them, write to them, ask them to put on hold your pending arrest. This court doesn't have power and jurisdiction to overturn the decision of the highest court in the land. So that's why it is widely believed that proceedings are likely to be very brief. But with court processes, you may never know. It could be that, arguments may drag on and on and on, but this is an urgent matter. At some point, a decision has to be taken.
Siphamandla Goke, thank you so much for that. Siphamandla is outside the Pietermaritzburg High Court. The court is going to sit shortly to tell us their decision in the application made by former President Jacob Zuma and his legal team to interdict the arrest warrant that was set out by the Constitutional Court. An interesting day, and Siphamandla really broke that down for us nicely, all of the different aspects that might come into play today at court.
Absolutely, and it'll be interesting to see whether the court actually says it has a jurisdiction to even hear the matter. So